Putin News Now. How many experimental S-500 Prometheus air defenses does Russia have? Kyiv says Russia has transported sections of its long-anticipated S-500 air defense system to Crimea, putting the combat untested, valuable, and rare system at risk of Ukrainian strikes. On Wednesday, Ukraine's GUR Chief Lieutenant General Kirill Budanov told Ukrainian media that Russia had put S-500 missile system components in Crimea. The technology remains experimental, he said. The S-500, commonly known as the Prometheus surface-to-air missile system, debuted on the annexed peninsula, but it is unclear which parts. These air defense systems have command centers, radars, and launchers. Russia plans to serially construct S-500s by next year, but its number is unknown. Siddharth Kaushal, a researcher at the London-based Royal United Services Institute think tank, told Newsweek that Russia has one active S-500 regiment, which would mean 2 battalions with 2 air defense batteries apiece. Ukraine has repeatedly attacked Russia's ground-based air defenses in Crimea, notably the S-400, threatening crucial assets, according to the Institute for the Study of War. Further, Ukrainian strikes against such air defense assets may render the peninsula untenable as a staging ground for the Russian military, forcing Moscow to move weaponry to protect its bases and infrastructure. Budanov claimed the S-500 protected the Kerch Bridge, which Putin personally launched in 2018 to unite Crimea to Russia. Russian troops on the peninsula and in Russian-controlled mainland Ukraine depend on the 12-mile Crimean Bridge. Ukraine has regularly attacked it. The Hague Center for Strategic Studies senior strategic expert Paul Van Hooft told Newsweek that Russia prioritizes bridge protection. He noted that deploying S-500 pieces might fill capability gaps and allow Russia to test them without losing a battery. This inside, almost accidental narrative shows how an American fugitive who sought sanctuary in Moscow became a crucial member in Russia's global disinformation network. It began when a NewsGuard analyst discovered a new Washington, D.C. news site promoting Russian propaganda. She was unaware that a Moscow-based Russian disinformation operation had threatened her boss and his family in a YouTube video with an aerial image of his home and calls to his unlisted phone number 6 months earlier. John Mark Dugan, a former Florida deputy sheriff who fled to Moscow after being investigated for computer hacking and extortion, orchestrated this D.C. website, those threats to NewsGuard's co-CEO, and dozens of other hostile information operations, including a documentary the Russians used to invade Ukraine. NewsGuard found 167 Russian misinformation websites under Dugan's guise of independent local news publishers in the U.S. and 15 videos on his now-defunct YouTube channel. These concocted stories, from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky siphoning off war funds to buy a King Charles estate in England to a non-existent U.S. bioweapons lab in Ukraine causing the Russians to invade, have been amplified on social media to reach a global audience of more than 37 million views, including 1,300,000 views of the Zelensky by narrative. NewsGuard connected the dots, revealing a sophisticated multimedia global disinformation operation. An excerpt from NewsGuard co-CEO Stephen Brill's upcoming book, The Death of Truth, recounts Brill's terrifying experience with the Russian operative.